Hello, everyone. Welcome to my first live session about organizing your wardrobe. My name is Lina Vash. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a personal stylist based in London, and I'm also a freelance fashion editor. My passion for fashion started in my teenage years, and I did study fashion design, and I studied also media studies. I did a master's degree on fashion studies, communication, culture at the London College of Fashion here in London. And I worked in media and for a charity close to my heart for a few years. And now I'm doing this freelance work. So thank you so much for joining me. And if you follow my blog, you already know, or if you listen to my audio blog podcast, I'm quite passionate about sustainability. But without ever compromising style. So that's something that it's good to share with you. So basically, before we start, I would just like to know if you have a predominant color on your wardrobe. So if you have a quick glance at it, if you're near it, and use the chat box um, to let me know what is the color that you have mostly on your wardrobe. Thank you, Pauline. So Pauline says her, oh gosh, apparently black is a popular color. And there's also green for Cayenne Chu. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right. So basically now I'm going to share my screen with you and you'll get, sorry, it's a bit messy. 1 second. Okay, there we are. So this is my presentation that I prepared for today. And basically, these are some of the colors that you could have on your wardrobe. And basically, colors are very important because they have a deep impact on our mood, on our health. And the most ancient knowledge that we have about colors comes from Hinduism, from India, about econ and its focus on chakras. So basically early Sanskrit texts speak about different energy centers on our body. And as you can see, there's a different color attached to it. There's recent research on color psychology that I will go through later. But first, I really want to let you know a little bit about the chakras. So as you can see on the image, the root chakra is red and defines our relationship with Earth. It impacts our vitality, passion, and survival instincts. Red is also indicative of our need for logic and order, physical strength and sexuality, as well as fight or flight response in case of danger. The sense of smell is actually connected with this chakra. Then, as you can see in the picture, comes the sacral chakra, which is orange, and it relates to the water element in the human body. Orange impacts also sexuality, reproductive function, joy, desire, and even creativity and compassion for others. The sense of taste is associated with this chakra. Then, as you can see on the photo, comes the solar plexus chakra, which is yellow, and is responsible for one's personal and professional success. Yellow is associated with fire, energy, and charge. The element of fire, when balanced and harmonious, allows one to feel more confident, cheerful, and energetic, along with the right amount of respect for self and others. Our sense of sight is associated with this chakra. Then there comes the heart chakra, which is green and influences our relationships and is related to the element of air. A weak heart chakra is responsible for sabotaging relationships through distrust, anger, and envy. The sense of touch is impacted by this chakra. Then comes the throat chakra, which is blue and is associated with the ability to communicate and listen. This chakra, when balanced, allows an individual to have a pleasant voice, artistic abilities, and expressive ways. People with a balanced throat chakra are able to meditate well and use their energy efficiently and artistically. The third eye chakra is indigo, as you can see in the photo. When this chakra is balanced, people tend to have a charismatic personality and often do not have any fear of death. Our sense of thought is associated with this chakra. And last but certainly not least is the crown chakra, which is violet or purple and is associated with the element of light. In its balanced state, this chakra can render individuals the ability to transcend the laws of nature and have a heightened awareness of death and immortality. Recent studies actually, so if you look, there's no black here, so there's not much you can take away from this if the most predominant color on your wardrobe is black. But as you can see, color psychology focus on a wider range of colors. And in this case, black is perceived as a bit more formal, dramatic, sophisticated, and it has an air of security. So it's quite a good color to have. And for instance, in Paris, the French women love black, so you know. But basically, color psychology, if you're not familiar with it, it studies how color impacts our mood, our feelings, and even behaviors. Warm colors often evoke feelings of happiness, optimism, and energy, while cool colors are more calming and soothing, but they can also express sadness. And you might think this is a bit mumbo jumbo, but actually it has a lot of impact on brands. If you think, for instance, of Victoria's Secret, the logo of Victoria's Secret is pink. So as you can see, pink is associated with sophistication and sweetness. So the color can also communicate and align with the brand's image. And then I have to touch on the work of trends forecasting agencies. Basically, it's a common business practice for brands. The vast majority of our clients are companies and fashion designers as well. They produce reports on the colors for a particular product category. That should be acceptable for the public in the next year or two. So this is quite important because if you produce a product in the wrong color, the chances are it won't be sold. So it is quite important to get the color right. And basically, they work on the assumption that there is a natural order to consumers' color preferences and that they reflect the zeitgeist. I mean, there's quite a few trend forecasting agencies. If you want to learn more about it, I do recommend WGSN, Stylus, Perkins Paris, and also here in London, there's the Future Laboratory, which is great. And it's good to bear in mind their work is not usually verified or up for scrutiny. But how do they come up with mood boards like this one that you can see on this picture? Basically, they look at the most innovative work of artists. I mean, for instance, Samara Scott, she plays with colors and textures, and Pim Top as well. And oh, sorry. And then clay play by artist Annie Lee Parker. As you can see on different images, the colors do have an impact on the mood of the room and feel different. Obviously, there's also design, but it does have an impact. And then I don't know if you're familiar with the Japanese hairstylist, but basically, sorry. So basically his work is really very creative and it has really nice shades and he's not fearful of experiment with colors. So it's really good if you want to look into it. I will share the resources at the end so you know. But first, before we actually start with organizing the wardrobe, there's the more less interesting bit, which is about clearing out. But basically, it doesn't need to be, you know, it doesn't need to be a boring thing. It can actually invite friends over and have a good time, as you can see on this clip. Oh, sorry.
Remember this? While Samantha put on the best of the 80s, I put on the worst.
So basically you can watch it. It's on YouTube. Sorry about the poor quality, but you can watch it on YouTube. But most of you are already familiar probably with Sex and the City. And but the point is actually to have fun. So basically you can, I mean, now we're in lockdown, but you can invite your bubble and do it together with someone. So basically clearing out your wardrobe doesn't need to be a drag. It can actually be fun. And before you throw anything away, I think it's very good to ask yourself the following questions. Do I really love it? Does it make me feel good? Does it fit me? Does it fit my lifestyle? Does it go with what I already have on my wardrobe? Because it's quite important to mix and match things. And did I wear it over the past couple of years? If you didn't touch it over 2 years, that means you don't really like it enough and it's just wasting space, basically. And if you look at these questions, all of them, apart from the last one, you can actually ask yourself these questions before purchasing something new. Basically, it's really good to make deliberate decisions so that you have a wardrobe that is coherent and you can mix and match things that you already have. Another good advice is don't go shopping when you're high. Definitely avoid the free champagne or luxury boutiques or Vogue's fashion night out, because you end up buying on an impulse and buying things that really in the end, after a while, you realize that it was not a good decision. And basically another thing that most of us do now, because we're on lockdown, we go onto online shopping. So it's good to be aware that on online shopping, at checkout, there's always add-ons. So basically they will tell you if you get this for free, or you get free shipping. So you should avoid that altogether, to make sure you don't buy something that you will regret later. And then another thing to bear in mind is that if you care about sustainability as much as I do, there's a lot of greenwashing right now, which is like brands, they make sustainability claims without having data to back those claims up. So it's really good to have a bit of research work, do a bit of research work before you actually buy it from a sustainable brand, just because it's sustainable. It does need to fit also your style and your lifestyle as well. And then once you go through all of this, you come to the bit where you have lots of stuff that you don't want. So what do you do with it? Basically, whatever you do, don't drop them as clothes banks or charity shops if they're full or closed, because basically they will just end up on a landfill, or don't bin them. Definitely don't. If you have high quality items, you can use Vestiaire Collective. If it's more high street brands, you can use Vinted or eBay. eBay, I find it a bit busy, but I have friends who use it and they're happy with it. So be my guest. But the point is to make money out of it. You can also give to other people, like your friends, or if when you go to the supermarket, you see a homeless person that you sympathize with, you can also give a good wool jumper to that person. Here, for the people who are actually based in London, and I'm sorry for all the others, there's an initiative called Love Not Landfill, and they have their own clothes banks and events, and they also organize swap parties. You yourself can also organize a swap party with, well, maybe not with a lot of friends right now, but at least with your bubble, you can do that. And basically you have a bit of fun and you swap things over and you can have a good time. And if there's something that you absolutely love, you can also repair it, but it's damaged, you can also repair it. If you don't know where you can repair it, just ask your local dry cleaner, sorry, because they usually do that service for you as well. Or you can approach upcycling fashion designers and they can transform it into something new, or you're just contributing towards sustainability. If you need names of fashion designers who are involved in upcycling, please get in touch and I'm happy to recommend that for you. And now I'm going to ask you a question. So I gathered a few style icons, and basically, can you please use the chat to let me know who's your favorite style icon? Oh, sorry. I'll put it up again. Sorry. Let me see. Okay, Brigitte Bardot, sorry, we don't have that one. Yeah, Alexa Chang, she's a favorite here in the UK as well. She seems to be a favorite for a lot of people. Thank you, Emma. Basically, I've arranged a few, oh, sorry. Sorry, I do apologize, but I need to remove the shot from here. 1 second. Oh, there we are. So here we go again. So basically, if you can see the different wardrobes, you actually have different style of wardrobe. So even if you cannot have a walk-in wardrobe, the main thing, you can also have a dressing area in your bedroom. And the main thing is to have a space that reflects your own personality. And it should feel like an intimate space for you. And once you have a sense of what you like, then you can start organizing. So the first thing you should do is to actually organize things by categories. So you start by hanging the tops first, then the knitwear, then the jackets, the suits, the trousers, the shorts, skirts, dresses, coats, belts, and scarves. And then folded, you have your lingerie, your knitwear, your jeans, and your beachwear. And then in terms of the shelves, you can have your shoes, bags, and hats. And if you have everything clearly organized, then it's very easy to pick things up when you're getting dressed, basically. In terms of the knitwear, it's good to have different compartments, as you can see on the picture on the left, so that everything is clearly visible, so you don't have to push anything from the back and you know exactly what you have. And also you want to have a shoe rack with all your shoes together. And for the bags, as I said, the best option is to actually use shelves to maximum space. And then in terms of essentials for your wardrobe, I do recommend choosing consistent hangers. My personal favorite are white wooden ones. But of course you can choose whatever you like. Just don't go for plastic, because we should definitely avoid plastic everywhere, not only on our wardrobe, but also in the kitchen, everywhere. But basically you have the clip hangers for skirts, and the padded ones are best for cardigans or a bit more like cashmere, more delicate kind of knitwear. And you can add storage baskets and boxes for big things like bed linen, blankets, throws, woolen scarves, and chunky jumpers. Another thing that is quite essential is a full-length mirror. Ideally, you want to put it close to a window so you have a lot of natural light so you can see if the color suits your skin tone and if the colors match one another. So it's quite important to have good lighting. And basically, let me just see, once you have that, this is obviously optional, but I do think a bit of design goes a long way to make the room feel a bit more inviting. So I do recommend having an armchair. I chose these, but you can choose any others. I mean, here in London, but I think it's an online service, so you can get it also in other countries. There's a brand called Lofty Furniture. So basically, if you're on a budget, they have stock from May.com and from John Lewis. These are very good brands. And the stock comes from returns, cancelled orders, overruns, and end of the range products. And there's also some damaged ones, but the damage is minimal and you really get very good discount. And then after the armchair, I do think a little wallpaper goes a long way. I wouldn't put it in the whole room, but just one wall or just a bit of the wall. And my favorite are from Back to the Wall from New Zealand and also de Gournay here in the UK. You might be already familiar with his work from Annabelle's here in London is a private members club. As you can see, the interior design is completely transformed by the wallpaper. Of course, here they go all the way, but in your own space, you can have just one wall and it does make a difference. It makes it more luxurious and very feminine as well. And then something that is quite essential for your wardrobe design is a dressing table for you to do your makeup. If you don't have a walk-in wardrobe, you can use your office area. I mean, lots of us are actually working from home, so you have an office area in your place. So it's good to make it a bit more inviting. And a good way to do that is to add, as you can see on the picture in the middle, add a bit of fashion illustration or fashion photography to make it a bit your own and so that you can see your style in it as well. In terms of fashion illustration, these are my favorites, but you can find quite a few of them on Instagram. René Cruau did all the illustrations for Christian Dior in the 50s. Is like a classic. Is the head of fashion illustration or the father of fashion illustration. Then in Paris, I love the work of Marc-Antoine Coulon. And from Australia, Megan S, she's really very popular. She does coffee cups, pillows. She has published a few books already. And here in London, of course, he's very well known. David Downtown is a reference in terms of fashion illustration. And my favorite work from him is this illustration from Christian Dior when John Galliano was there. But you can choose basically whatever illustration you like the most. And or you can also add fashion photography. So again, these are some of my favorites, but you can choose any other. Tim Walker has a bit of work that is a bit otherworldly, while Helmut Newton is all about powerful, sexy women. And then Horse is a classic, very elegant, very demure. So of course, if you cannot get originals, you can get a good reproduction, and it will make the place a bit more inviting. So these are some of the resources that I use to produce this presentation. So if you want to have any of this information, I can pass it on to you. So just write it down on the chat, yes, and then I'll send it to you, or just email me afterwards if you want. Excuse me. And then basically I offer a personal styling service. As you can see on the right, one of my services, wardrobe organization. So if you don't want to do to organize your wardrobe, I'm happy to do it for you. And basically on my website, you can book my services directly online. You can follow me on Instagram at linavaz underscore or my company on LinkedIn. And basically, I do send a monthly newsletter if you want to sign up for that. I'm aware that people have a very busy life, and to manage inboxes is not so easy. So I keep it to once a month. And because this was my actually first presentation, I'm going to stop sharing now. So, because this was my first presentation, it would be really interesting to have some feedback from you. You can also write it down on the chat, or sorry, it was not so visible, the chat for me this time, so I have to practice it a little bit. Or you can write me an email at info@linavars.co.uk. And for now, I would like to know if you have any questions. So do write them down in the chat box if you do. Yes, Emma, yes, I can send you the link about the lofty furniture later on, so don't worry about that. I'll send you an email with it. To be honest, I actually first heard about it from Victoria Prue. She has her, it's a rental service. It's quite a brilliant company. So I heard it from her first. Well, in terms of jewelry, I think it's good to have a jewelry box so you have everything in one place. Also, if you want to travel, which at some point we will, it's good to have everything together so that you can clearly see what will go with what we already have on your suitcase. So yeah, I keep everything together as much as possible. I mean, the whole point of organizing your wardrobe is that you have everything clearly visible and you don't forget anything, and you can mix and match so it looks much more interesting and than to always wear the same, because we all tend to always pick up the things that we wear all the time. But it's good to be a bit more experimental. Thank you, Pauline. Uh, Flipa, in terms of color, more appropriate, I don't think there's an appropriate color for our wardrobe. It really depends of each person's personality and mood. And as trends forecasting agencies work is all about, you know, things change. So basically, during the war years, the people tended to have more somber colors, but we can also play with it. Basically, if we look at our wardrobe and we see that we have a lot of bright colors, maybe we need to tone it down. And it also take into account our own personality. Like if we're very relentless, then we should wear more soothing colors, while if we're a bit more on the low energy side, maybe a good orange that could help a little bit as well. You're welcome. Okay, so I think I'm going to, unless you have any other questions, I think I'm going to stop for now. But basically, I do appreciate if you could send me some feedback, because obviously this was my first session, and it would be great to know if you enjoyed it or not, if you have any suggestions. So I would really appreciate that. So thank you all. Thank you for your time, and considering we're kind of in a pandemic, stay well and be safe, and lots of love for you. Bye-bye.